Welcome to another video. Real quick, if you guys missed the last video, or if you're new here, we're giving away some things. If you guys want to buy a shirt like this, it matches our wall. Trevor's got the dark blue one on. Got the white one on. We also have a black one, giving away a 2015 Plus STI intake. We've got a sick leather bag that I use all the time. That Soul Guard sent out. We have a dash cam. We have a intake cover for a 350Z, and that's it as of right now. If you guys want to order a shirt, karmaspeed.com, I'd really appreciate it because we're getting rid of the last 20 or so shirts. But on to today's project. We have the 350Z duck bill that needs to get molded. Basically, we did this a while back, and it's been looking bunk for a while, but we knew we'd get to it. So here's the plan. We are going to glue it on, basically, with some really crazy epoxy from 3M. And then, so take it off, sand off the paint, and then put it back on with glue, holding it on. We put the screws back in, we let it sit overnight. And then tomorrow we can start molding it with Bondo and things like that. So we make this rep Rocket Bunny duckbill, try and maybe make it look like an actual one, and then have it molded into the trunk, so when we do wrap the car, it'll look perfect. By the way, I didn't really get to mention in the other video, when we put the dual caliber bracket on, it actually pushed the wheel out, and so the fitment is like really crazy now, and it doesn't seem to be an issue yet with this tire size. And then the bumper got eaten alive by the exhaust, finally. Alright, we're gonna leave the duckbill in the sun so it's extra flexible. And these are where the rib nuts are that we were talking about. I'll leave the link in the description to the install video we did on this so you understand what rib nuts are, if you don't. I went to Ace Hardware and I bought a sanding pad, and then I looked it up online what body shops do. So I have 400 grit and we have 180 grit, so we'll hit it with 180 and then we'll hit it with 400, and that should get us through the paint to the body, or at least the primer, and that's what we can stick the epoxy to. So we'll start here at the top, see what this 180 grit does. And we put the bolts back in here so we don't have any issues with sand or dust getting in there. Oh, there we go. That's nice. We just made it through. Trevor just grabbed 100 grit because this is more than we thought. Is the 100 grit better?
Yeah, it cuts a little faster.
Working on the bottom now. We nicked the taillight over here with the sandpaper, which was an amateur move, so Trevor taped the whole car off, so I recommend you guys doing that before you start. But still just making progress by hand, using the 100 grit. Not sure if that's the best thing, but it's not doing anything crazy to the metal, so we're gonna follow up with some lighter sandpaper when we're done with this. So it's a lot more work than you think. Trevor's about to, it already is just drenched in sweat. I'm drenched in sweat. We've been going ham on this thing for a minute, and it's looking pretty good. We're gonna switch over to the more fine grit, smooth it out, and then we'll clean it and prep it for glue. Just the 400 grit, and it feels as smooth as a baby's bottom about. Like, it's really, really smooth, more than you'd think. So we're gonna go ahead and prep this with rubbing alcohol, and then clean her up and get the tape, and we're gonna send it.
We're just doing a alcohol wipe after a degreaser wipe, and then we're gonna do the same thing to the inside of the duckbill.
What we are working with is 3M panel bonding adhesive. I'll leave a link in the description to Amazon where we got it from. This is there's two parts to this, and then they bond and create a crazy adhesion. So
look at that crazy straw.
yeah, look at that. Alright, so we don't have a panel bond adhesive gun. I'm going to leave a link in the description to one. But Trevor's using 2 sockets underneath to get it to come out. The glue process is done. Things we learned right off the bat. We need a panel bond gun. I'm gonna leave a link in the description for that. So you buy the 3M adhesive panel bond, but then you need the gun to do it properly. Trevor took 2 large sockets, pressed them out, about killed himself. As you guys saw, he almost pooped his pants. And then, so first things, we know that glue's gonna hold. We didn't put as much as we could have because Trevor about pooped his pants. So if you look right here, there's a gap right there you'll see in the body. That's just because it's a crappy bill. But in the corner I see glue coming out, so that's good. So we know that corner will hold. This is like apparently the stickiest of the stickiest stuff you can get. So we hope that even with a crappy mount, that it'll still hold just enough, and then we'll do Bondo over all this. So we're gonna let this dry. Another thing I would have done differently is, see on this one right here, we put 2 nuts. So if you think about it, we're not using the screws to hold this on anymore, we're using the glue to hold it on. So it's like, well, why do we need to...
Like the screws are just a clamp.
The screws at this point are just a clamp. Originally the idea was to have the look with screws, like a wide body kit, but it looked just way too dramatic, so we want to mold it with the stock body right now. So we use on this one to make it work, since this rib nut was stripped, or cross threading, we took 2 nuts, put it in there. But if I were to do it again, if we did it on Trevor's car, or if you guys do it on your car, just get a bunch of washers and tighten these up till it snugs it on to hold it on, so that glue is in between the duckbill and the metal. So don't feel like you have to do it this way. I would use washers, if that makes sense, on all these to hold it down even better, and you don't have to snug these bolts up. Other than that, we'll find out tomorrow how well it holds, because we're just gonna pull them out and then tug on it. Hopefully it's okay, and then we're gonna do Bondo over all this, and I have 2 types of Bondo to use to make it look good. And then after that, we're gonna primer the whole thing, and then we can wrap it after that. So thank you guys so much for watching part 1. Don't forget, you can get one of these shirts on CarMakeSpeed.com. We only have a few left. We'd really like if you check it out. I'm giving away a couple things if you guys haven't seen the last videos. Go check them out. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Later.